Look at the state of this. Absolutely unreal. This is the 75-inch LG QNED Mini LED 4K TV. As much of a monster in the name as it is by design, this is the type of TV that I've been waiting for. One that could potentially be comparable to OLED TVs in some aspects, better potentially in some aspects, and for less cashish. Now, for the record, this unit was provided to me by LG, who are also sponsoring this video, but as always on the channel, they had no influence on the script, and I will tell you what I like and things that I think potentially could be improved in a future product. Because, as you'll see, there are definitely a couple of things you will need to know if you're going to indeed be shelling out a bit of cash for this little bad boy. Little 75 inches! But in all seriousness, this does actually lead me on to one potential con about this individual LG QNED 91 model, and that is, in the UK anyway, the number of different sizes available. It's simply 75-inch or a smaller 65-inch, nothing else. There's not a huge variety of sizes. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a big screen, and this looks incredible. But I also appreciate that not everyone has the space for such a large TV. I would definitely have liked to have seen them maybe offer a 48-inch or a 43-inch model as well to run alongside them, to give people the option at the very least. Now, LG do offer smaller sizes in other models, but not with the QNED 91. If you do have space for this cheeky number though, I think considering the price and 40% discount currently as well, more on that later, I don't think, as you'll see, you'll be disappointed. First thing to note is this thing is a tank. It's extremely heavy, and with its brushed metal finish, it really feels solid and well built. It's definitely a two-person job to unbox and mount, although obviously because I am an absolute beast, I did it on my own. Ouch! In the box you get the TV, manuals, batteries and remote, more on that shortly, the stand, and panels to cover the back corners if you decide against wall mounting the TV. I personally would wall mount it if given the option if I had a spare wall, because currently the only space for it is being taken up by another TV, and that is an OLED TV, again from LG. And while we're on that, let's talk OLED or OLED and QNED, the differences, the pros, the cons, and what you might prefer. First, OLED in general is usually quite a bit more expensive, but it is excellent in low light conditions, and if you're watching movies and the scene is dark, lots of shadowy areas, then this is where OLED comes into its own. The OLED panels have the ability to turn individual pixels on and off, so the black or dark areas of the scene can be infinite, can be inky, deep, dark, beautiful. Mwah! Because there's no light coming from them. Now, traditional LED TVs, on the other hand, have an always-on backlight. So dark or black areas of a scene would often appear more grey, murky, not as infinite, not as dark, and outlines and text would sometimes have haloing and blooming, etc. Not quite as crystal clear and crisp, because to some extent there is always light coming through. Okay, so what is the difference between that and LG's new QNED Mini LED technology then? And why can it almost rival OLED when it comes to black accuracy? Well, these QNED TVs, which are kind of going head to head with Samsung's QLED TVs, or QLED, have what's known as mini LED backlights with quantum dot nanocell color technology. And before you're thinking, excuse me? What? Quite simply, it now means not only do we have wonderfully vivid colours with pretty great viewing angles for a non-OLED, but we have many more individual tiny LED lights spread across the entire space behind the screen. So there is far more backlight control with these added dimmable zones to achieve a much more accurate picture and an enhanced ultra high contrast ratio. Really bright highlights, skies, suns, etc. in the image, and then much deeper, darker shadows, far closer to what you would expect from an OLED panel. So not only are we now closer to OLED when it comes to blacks with this technology, but we also have some of the advantages of a LED TV, and that is that we can go brighter than OLED. So if you're planning to have this TV in your house or office that is of a bright environment, glare, potential sunlight coming through windows, then this actually might be a better option for you. And you also don't get the potential worry about OLED's burn-in. Now, in terms of connectivity and ports, we have a LAN, satellite and antenna in, 3 USB Type A, optical digital audio out, common interface and 4 HDMI ports, of which one has ARC and eARC support, meaning you can send all of the latest audio formats, like Dolby Atmos for example, from your TV to your speakers or soundbar, etc. And 2 of the HDMI ports are 2.1, so that is 4K 120Hz compatibility. What this means is if you're viewing content or gaming at high frame rates for all that fast and smooth actiony goodness, especially on the next gen consoles, PS5, Xbox Series X, etc., then in order to really get the most out of said content, you will need to have a TV that has a high hertz capability, like this 120Hz. The number here stands for the amount of times the screen refreshes every second, in this case 120 times, so think about how smooth that action can be. The higher the number, the smoother the content, in theory. On top of this, you have a game optimizer feature which allows for rapid input response times, giving you the edge when you are in a gaming environment where every millisecond counts. And we have AMD FreeSync Premium, which delivers variable refresh rates during gameplay to reduce stutters and tearing, basically when the picture jars and jumps and fractures around for a non-optimal jarring experience. Not the great smooth playback that you want. You can also find Game Optimizer in a picture mode, and it sits amongst a bundle that also includes Filmmaker mode, which turns off motion smoothing while preserving the original aspect ratios, colours and frame rates of the director's original vision. So the experience can be much more authentic and empathetic to how the director intended the content, the movie that you're watching to be, how they wanted it to look. Also here you have access to other settings shortcuts, similar to what we've seen before on LG's WebOS platform, but importantly, the overall interface has seen a slight revamp and seems much more simplified and easy to navigate. The Air Mouse is still an available option, but you no longer have to go to the bottom for a pop-up to access many of the apps and input sources. Now it's just simply all there in front of you, and it can be easily customized to suit your preferences, which is great, and certainly an improvement on previous versions. But don't be mistaken, before you get too carried away, there is a section that I don't like here, and that is the fact that for a TV that is in the premium bracket, you're not paying a minimal amount for. I don't think we should have inbuilt ads in that OS. You do see it from other manufacturers as well, but again, it's something I noticed and thought I would pass on for feedback. Small point, but worth noting. The remote has all your major functions, including dedicated buttons for Netflix, Prime, etc. And it is a bit generic in design, nothing too fancy, but it's fairly comfortable in the hand and it's just okay. I mean, how else can you get excited about the design of a remote? There may be someone out there. Imagine a YouTube channel dedicated to remotes. I guarantee there's somebody out there. Now, the overall experience of the LG QNED Mini LED 4K TV for gaming or watching movies is aided by the Alpha 7 Gen 4 AI processor 4K. Again, unnecessarily long name aside, it uses a deep learning algorithm to recognize specific content quality, picture and sound for automatic optimization. Now, some of you will love this optimization, some of you not so much, but like with most things on the LG TV, you can customize and turn it on and off in your settings if you so wish. On top of this, the sheer minimalistic design and ultra slim bezels are a joy to view, and considering this isn't OLED and contains a backlight, I'm amazed at just how slim the TV is. Combine this with the premium brushed metal appearance, and I think this will look the bee's knees in pretty much any setup. Now, like I said at the start, this TV is currently, at the time of recording anyway, at 40% off on LG's website. Don't know how long that's going to last for, and you've got to remember you are getting an absolute cinema beast of a size. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Are you a fan of this sort of TV? Is this one that you were potentially looking for? Do you like this sort of size? Or would you like something maybe a little bit smaller? Are you an OLED fan? Are you a QNED fan, etc.? Let me know. As always, I'd love to hear it. Like the video if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and love everything tech and want to see more content like this. And finally, follow me on my other social medias if you're interested in continuing the conversation outside of YouTube and want snippet bits of information about certain products that I'm testing currently right now. Or that you just want to tell me I'm ugly and that I should stop doing YouTube. you can do that as well. I might not be your friend, but you can do it. Have a lovely rest of your day. ASBYT, peace out.